God, you know, I don't know a lot of stories.
Pa, you got any stories?
Who, me?
Yeah. About Arnie
The
Rose.
only story I could tell you is that I remember when there was baseball was in,
Yeah.
and I went down the field with the horse, and my dad told me that I had to cultivate 40 rows, and they call them furrows. Furrows they call a row. And I had to cultivate 40 rows because the people from Newton Upper Falls were coming down to hoe. And when they hoe, they pull the loom up alongside of the vine, and they get a good grip at the soil, and they grow immensely. So finally, it was a beautiful day, and we will plan the North School, and
Is this a serial story?
now wait, I got as much time here as you had. You had a lot of time. So finally, what happened was, I was the catcher.
Yeah.
And I wanted to play so badly that it was just unbelievable, and I had no way of leaving. So it was a very, very hot day, and the horse was,
He was a hot horse.
the horse was cultivating, he was going along beautifully, and all of a sudden, it was time for the game to start.
Yeah.
So I says, I got an idea. I think I'll follow through with my idea. So I went and took the horse into the reservation, in the woods, and alongside of the Charles River. I tied him to a tree, and I walked along the Charles River to get to the new school where we were playing, and all of a sudden I put my mitt on, and I says, "Come on, Johnny." The pitcher's name was Johnny Murphy. And I says, "Come on, Johnny, pitch him right in there, pitch him right in there, Johnny." And I was catching. Now the horse was tied to a tree in the reservation, and it was hot as a son of a gun. So finally, I played for a good 3/4 of an hour, and that's all I needed. So finally, I went back to the horse. Now, my father looks out the window and he doesn't see the horse going up and down the furrow. So what the heck happened to the horse? Now the horse was tied to the tree in the reservation. So I goes down and I says, "Oh my God, I see my father coming down the field." And I only got 10 furrows cultivated. So I took, there was an old pail laying down alongside of the Charles River. So I filled it up with water and I threw it over the horse's can.
Yeah.
So I got to make my father feel as though the horse was sweating.
Yeah.
And that's why I pulled him into the reservation.
He didn't realize his father was a lot older than he was.
So finally I got back to the horse and I threw 3 buckets of water in his can.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you know, my father got to the thing and I got to the horse also. And I says to my father, "Look, Pa," I says, "the horse was sweating." And I says, I tied him to the tree in the shade. And my father looked at the horse. Now when a horse sweats, he gets like a sud, a white sud
Salt.
over the horse. And he didn't have any of this white sud over the horse. So my father looked at me and he says, "This isn't preparation. What are you trying to tell me?" And as I was telling him that, he was ready to raise his right foot up to give me a good kick. And I kept backing away. I was backing away. So then finally, I says it was too hot, so I pulled him in there. And then I told him the truth. So this is the story of my life.
And what did he say?
He knew his father would have
That's right,
never kicked him because he was son number 3.